What's up, Mark? So, you should be able to see, and I can see my preview. So, yes, you can see my second monitor, which has Scorpbot up on it. What's up, man? I actually need to make that screen bigger so I can see that chat. All right, because I'll be showing you stuff. I won't be able to see the chat here. Okay, so, your first question. So, for everybody that watches a VOD later on, by the way, Mark is a streamer getting ready to stream and had some questions about how to do some things inside of Scorpbot. So, I like to do a demonstration of things in a stream so I can save a video so I can share it with other people later. So that's what we're doing here. So the questions he had were about command structure and currency setup and whatever else we get into. So I'll put the description in the YouTube link or in the YouTube, whatever, show more stuff. But we'll get going. So your first question was currency is the easier one. So we'll get into that one first. So you were asking, how do I give people or judge people by their hours, but give them points in some form? So first of all, there are two currency tabs in Scorpbot. The first one is the primary one, or points one. I have mine set up to do this by hours. Can you maximize that window? Sure. Better? I mean, it's a whole bunch of wasted real estate on the right side. I can't make it any bigger here.
Let the organ notes ring out from the abbey.
Morning, Ned.
The sisters are gathering.
So the question here. All right, so if it's really small, let's do this. Really small, let's do this. Even though it says Darkest Dungeon. And then let me bring in the window capture, the monitor capture that I had going on there. Where are you? Oh. Why are you not window capture? Why do I not see? Let me just do it this way. We'll just capture it from the announcement screen and we'll move it over there. Copy that. Come down here. Go to game. We'll paste you in. Paste, paste, paste. Reference. And let's make that big. How's that? Get my ugly face off the screen. There we go. Now you can see me and see that. My problem now is I don't have a chat. So let me go get a chat so I can see what the hell you guys are saying. Fixer. I don't need 85 tabs. Thank you very much. Need the one. Pop out of chat. That's gonna crush my CPU on Twitch as well. Best beard. Alright. No, I don't want that. I just want to pop out of chat. Pop me out of chat. Do it. Alright. There we go. Get those other things off the screen. All right, now I have a chat. Now I can see you guys. Okay, so the question you had, move my tea out of the way, was currency. How do we set up currency to be hours based, but it's gonna drive me nuts. Week counter and death counter. Bye-bye. How do we hours based ranks? So that's easy. So right here where it says ranks based on hours. So that's the first thing you want to do. Make sure that your ranks are based on hours, and then the requirements, when you fill out this section here, name and requirements, you'll see that my requirements list is set up by hours. So hangarounds, who are you? When you come into my channel, you are rank who are you, 0 hours. Then you go to hangaround at 1 hour, seeker at 3 hours, veteran at 10, champion at 20, legend at 50, and etc. But have separate points. Well, it's easy to do. The points is down below. You'll actually see the math on how tributes are awarded. So base payout when stream is live. So let's go through the entire section. Payout settings, online payout interval. So every 10 minutes, the payout poll or the payout proc happens. Base payout when the stream is live. So when my stream is running, every 10 minutes, it'll award base 10 tributes. And then the active box comes in next. Active user, so if you've typed something in the past 60 minutes, you get an additional 5 on that 10-minute proc. If you're a regular, you get another additional 5 on that 10-minute proc. If you're a subscriber, which I don't have, but it's set up for it, you get 10. And my moderators, this is how I pay them. They get an extra 2 tributes every 10 minutes. That's how you set that up. The points building up are independent of this setting. You can rank people based on their points, or you can rank people based on their hours. But the payout of it doesn't matter. That's all set up down here. Does that answer the question? That's all right. Also, one other thing to note is you have an offline payout interval. So I do pay out 5 tributes every 60 minutes. So if you sit in my chat, even if I'm offline, Scorp's running most of the time, and Scorp will feed people those tributes. The reason I do that is because if I host somebody, it allows me to take my group of lurkers to them and help their channel out. All right, cool. So that one makes sense. So let's move on to commands. You were saying, how do I effectively, this is the command section of my Scorpbot, how do I effectively give points to, let me go look at your question again. You were saying, yeah, trying to figure out how to give points to a specific user in the chat. Add points, name, number, syntax looks very specific to username and point value. So let's look at that. So I'm going to start typing in the upper box. Add points, add points, and then it would just be target, right? So so let's go through some. Yeah, there it is. So the light bulb comes on. So if someone presses a button, let's talk about button, like just command structure for just a second here. I'll bring up my interactive list. You've seen some of these lists. I sent some of them to you, but if we go and look at the actual, I'm bringing up stuff on it, my second screen here. Data, random lists, and we look at drown capped texts. This is how the monster works right here. The monster this is an array of potential commands that'll execute. So remove points, rand user, rand number, right? Instead of rand user, so this is the user selection piece of the command syntax. So instead of, it would be basically add points, parentheses, instead of user, $user, that's for whomever, issues a command, it would be target. So that it would, if you did a command like this over on this side where it was add points, target, comma, 5, whenever you actually went to do that in the chat, it would be, let's say we called this just mork test. If we went and did that in the chat, let me save that. And I did this over here, mork test at mork. That's all it would be. And that just gave you 5 tributes. Yes, exactly. It's just a variable. So the variables list over here is actually super useful if you're kind of lost. There's user, target. Those are both both like people in chat based. And then you get into things like random user value, which is an echo of whatever the random user chooses, which you've kind of seen in the stuff that I've been showing you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me go look at, I'll show you guys the juice command, right? You guys have seen us type juice and time somebody out in the chat. So we'll bring that one up. Target, so it's always exclamation point juice space at a user account. So it's juice target, and that target has joined the ranks of the juice box, blah, 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 blah. They won't be able, so timeout, target, 300 seconds. So what if I want the number to be input in the command? For example, add points fixer 200. So if you wanted to basically, for instance, so let's bring this one up. I have this command, which is bonus down here. Boom. No. Where are we? I just saw it. Let me sort these by alphabetic order. There we go. So bonus is command attributes add target 50. So you would basically want to have it be so that it changes this 50 to whatever you input in the string. So you want it to be bonus space account space value. Okay. That would be number. And the way that I can show you that one is, well, yeah, that answers it. Okay, cool. What I suggest for anyone that's messing with commands is get into your channel without it online. Like, don't turn your stream on. You can sit in your chat and monkey with this all day long. The way that I got a lot of this stuff working, yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of knowing what the variables mean. But the way I got a lot of this working is I sat here and just played with things until I saw, for instance, the response and the points that I wanted. And then once I was like, that's it, that's my syntax, then I just started replicating it out and creating, like I said, I started creating the arrays for the monster. To give Nedge an idea, these are all of the arrays of text variable lists that back end everything that goes on in the chat. So, for instance, when you guys press a button, this is the array that comes up, and there's actually a command that says choose one of the values from this random list. So add points to whomever pressed the button, choose a random number between 1 and 3, and then whisper that user have whatever that random number value was selected, tributes for interacting. And the command structure itself is random list fail text, that's will bring up the sound, random list button attributes. It just pulls 2 different arrays and runs them. So what other questions you got more? Oh, while you said that, for knowing what each variable means, this is super useful. So here's Scorp's Discord. Scorp's Discord is awesome for one thing. Let me get off this search. Right here, commands. All the commands are actually maintained fairly accurately in here. And you can go and look at syntax examples. You can go look at how people have built out. There's a lot of complexity you can get. Like, here's how to read Twitch API. It's kind of built out for you right there. So the internet sucks for finding these examples because they basically curated all of it within their Discord at this point. And if you have problems, there's a help. Feel free to just sit and teach me shit, though. Well, I mean, I can teach you whatever you want to know. I don't know where, like, at the end of the day, what you're aiming for. But seeing it is sometimes, like, you're like, I saw the light bulb come on whenever you saw, like, instead of target, or instead of user, you saw target, and I was like, he was like, like, yeah, that was the command he was missing, or the syntax variable you were missing. But I mean, the only other thing I ever really want to do a tutorial on is GFX, and I don't want to do it yet, just because I'm still learning it. I don't know what else really to show people. One thing I will tell anyone who has Scorpbot is the settings page is hugely important, this page. So down here, you will see this filtered words list. And yes, I'm putting bad words on my screen, but this is a huge list for me. I have a massive blacklist. And then the response is, hey, jerk, that word's not allowed. 2 warnings equals 1 timeout. And then they lose between 20 and 50 points. Thanks for your donation of whatever that value was. Play a sound. But this blacklist is how, if you don't have moderators, it's how the bot can be your moderator. It can get about 85% of the morons out there. Up here is auto timeout after warning, so it'll give that user, like, if they hit a word on this list twice, it'll warn them each time and delete it, but the third time they do it, all time, bye, you're timed out for whatever value set here. Now, how I get around that for my regulars is, this is a big deal. This setting right here, automatically become a regular at 5 hours. So that's where my 5-hour rule comes from, where the users on the list, and you'll see your names on here, If you make that list, that blacklist no longer applies to you. You can not worry about the bot timing you out. It also confers many other things. For example, whenever I run the how to get into the Hardcore Staltar Championship, it's run via the giveaways tab, and you have to be a regular down here to be able to even get in. So in order to be a regular, you have to make 5 hours, or I add you by hand, and then that regular permission is a distinctive permission in Scorpbot. It's not a rank. So there's like user, regular, subscriber, moderator, editor, and streamer, and it's that tier. So streamer's above editor, editor is above moderator, moderator's above regular, regular's above Joe user. And the reason that's important is, like, for instance, Savage Queen Madriel. Sure, man. I can go over the giveaway stuff. So what do you want to know? There are so let's start at the beginning. 1, make sure it's enabled. 2, the permission to start giveaways. So this is kind of the tiering I was just talking about. There's regular, subscriber, moderator, editor, and caster. Caster's me or whomever's running the bot, but that's me. I'm the authenticated caster account. Editor, editor is an elevated moderator. So Savage Queen Madriel is my editor, which means on the fly, as she deems necessary, if she sees like something that needs fixed, she knows Scorpbot well enough in terms of how to create commands that she can create commands while I'm streaming to help the stream out. And she's done that. She's created commands that say, hey, Fixer, don't forget to, feed Ralphie the dog treats while you're fighting somebody, because you always forget. She creates commands off the fly like that. Moderators, that confers the moderator permissions from Mixer or Twitch. Subscriber, that is, it'll import your subscribers list from Twitch or Mixer. Regular, and then there's just Joe everybody can't start it. So settings is chat. This is just Mixer, Twitch, or both. I just leave it on both because I don't have Twitch set up and it's not a big deal. This is the command that you would actually have to enter in the chat so that the giveaway itself would start. So or to get in, I'm sorry. So when I hit this start button, in order to join the giveaway, this is the command that the user would have to enter to join the giveaway. Cost is how much it costs that user, and then you can toggle between your two currencies. So I have tributes, which is what our stream currency is, and then I have Phil's Big Wheel points, and that's how I track who's watching during BOCW for the purposes of the wheel. And that's, I take them off of that list and I build the wheel based off those points, and then I reset them. So we would use tributes, and then entry permission is who can come in. You can go everyone, regular, subscriber, minimum rank, minimum points, minimum hours. You can go lots of different ways. Invisible, I don't know what that one does. I've never messed with it. I don't see a reason for it. But my entries are for regulars, because if you want to interact with BOCW, you have to be a regular. Yeah, I'll never use it. So then you get into the next important one, which is select from everybody online, which means the giveaway doesn't require anyone to enter. Viewers must enter, which means they must enter that command. And then you can restrict it to subs only, or only people that follow the channel. I don't do either one of those, because you have to be a regular. If you're here for 5 hours, you've probably followed the channel. So timers is the next most important one. How long does the actual giveaway last? 60 seconds. Viewer must be active in the last 60 minutes. So that means in order to enter it at all, by the time I hit go, the user needs to have been active for one type within the last 60 minutes. You could set that checkbox on. I leave it off because I tend to do my giveaways at the start of the stream, like the first raffle tickets right after countdown, and some people haven't typed yet. So yeah, that's exactly, no lurkers. Lurkers could not enter the giveaway. That is a distinctive question for everybody's stream and how they want to set it up. For me, it's not a good thing, simply because I'm always on a Sunday doing a raffle or a giveaway at like the moment the stream starts, and people are in the chat but they haven't said hi yet. They have wrestlers. I want them to be able to get in. There's reminders. That is, do you want them to be reminded when there's a minute left, and then when there's 10 seconds left? And then there's re-roll. So if you're giving away like a key and you want the person to be active in chat to claim that key, the winner will be told, if you check that box, you must actually hit !claim to claim your prize, and if you don't, the system will automatically re-roll for another winner, and I have it's set for 30 seconds by default. I don't do that either. But that's it. That's you could see if I ran a giveaway right now, this list right here would populate, and at the end of it, it would automatically pick a winner. Now for me, this setting right here, skip previous winners, is important, because let's say me, you, and Nedge all enter for a hardcore spot. Nedge wins it, she'll go into the previous winners list, and if she accidentally enters again, she could not be selected. And as long, and that previous winners list stays there until you hit the reset button or you restart Scorp. What else you want to see? Get a drink. Okay, I'll wait. Go find some elevator music, man. Bam, bam, bam. Ba-da, ba-da. Yep, that's fine. Take your time. Oh man, I had the elevator music coming up and everything. No. How to set up a button. Alright, buttons are easy. I have a lot of buttons. Actually I have 2 buttons there for some reason right now, because I think I was showing somebody else something. So let me get this one out of the way here. Tink, tink. Visible. Save. Yep. Oh, hey, look, there's my work test button. Alright, so buttons are easy. You'll notice I'm moving this one out of the way just to get it out of the way. I want to have a working space here to work with. But let's go ahead and delete Mork Test, and we'll start with a new button. So, buttons. You'll also notice that the Notice Me button probably disappeared from the bottom of the interactives. I know, phone, stop yelling at me. So, a button. Buttons, the response in here is just a command box. So anything you could enter in commands, you can enter right here. It's the same thing. I oftentimes will test what I want a button response to be in a command before I bring it in here, at least to kind of polish off the syntax, and then I'll bring it in. So first couple of things. Text. What do you want to be on the button itself? So this will be test button, right? And if I hit this right now and make that visible, you should see it pop up on the interactives. It's green, enabled and visible is checkboxed, and it's there. It does nothing. Like, you can press that button all day long, and it'll just stare at you and go, you pressed the button, I don't know what to do. So in order to do anything specific to its movement or its sizing, you must uncheck visible, which makes it have that red outline. It's enabled, it's still there, no one can see it. So then the next thing is types down here. So we'll come back out here and we'll delete this button real quick. We'll start over. Types are buttons, labels, and text box. Label is what my informational is, which is why it just looks like text. It says here's a label that tells you what these 6 buttons are. Almost everything you're gonna do is a button. It's just gonna text boxes. You can put a text box on your screen, basically allowing people to fill out a form if you want, and then call that text box from another button and like have it be a submit button. And that's crazy. Like, I could actually have the application for BOCW in my interactives if I wanted to. Don't go down that rabbit hole. It's not a great thing to have a place for people to send you text from your interactives, because all you're gonna do is get, juice box racism and a bunch of other nonsense in there. Yeah. So the majority of things you're gonna do is button. So we'll leave it button. So we'll go test button 2. Hey Skinja, how's it going? Yeah, we're just doing Scorpbot tutorial type stuff. So leave it button, and then cooldown seconds. How long does this, if this button is standalone, meaning how long would it take to cool down? So most of my buttons are 60 seconds. It is in seconds. And then spark cost. How much of the mixer currency will it take off that user's account to use it? So let's go with, for purposes of testing, let's go with 5. And then the response. The response is pretty easy. It's a command entry. So let's go with SFX, and let's pull up a sound effect off of my list here. Scorpbot. Okay, so Scorpbot sound effects must all be in Megasync or in Scorpbot SFX. They must all be in here. So let's go with one that you guys don't. Let's go with this. So I copy the entire file name just to make sure I have it, because you have to have the whole file name in there. And that's it. That'll play that sound. So if I make this button visible right now, hit that button. Anybody, hit the button.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
There you go. Now you'll notice it is cooling down individually right now, right? It didn't make any of my other buttons go inactive, right? And that's bad, because if you have every single button set to an individual cooldown, then it will be spammed. Yeah, quick question. Go for it. You don't. Scorpbot just knows it's that directory. But, good question overall, because it leads into something important. This audio tab, SFX subtab. So I'm showing you. Audio tab, SFX subtab, hit open folder. Boom. It takes you right to the folder it's looking at. So one other thing. Same for graphics. Yeah. Well, let me do one more thing that's important to this before I show you the graphics tab. For this, if you add a new file here, it will not populate here automatically. If you like, say you added new file.mp3, you'd actually have to hit reload here for Scorp to recognize, basically rescan that directory so that it would be available. So anytime you add a new sound to SFX folder, hit reload so that Scorp knows it's there. So finishing off the buttons before we jump into the GFX question, that's it. You can kind of do whatever you want. Background image for that button has to be a web-sourced image, so I keep all mine on Imgur. Permission for that button, everyone, regular subscriber. It's the same tiering that the giveaways had. This is the important part. Cooldown group. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove this button. I'm going to go ahead and put my Notice Me button back where it goes. I'm going to make it visible again. I'm going to hit save. Now, you'll notice that this says cooldown group 1, which is the same one this one, and this one belong to. That one too. So any of these buttons, I think that one and that one, yeah, any of these buttons up here get pressed, it'll start the cooldown for all of them. Meaning it'll gray all those buttons out at the same time, which is why, and it's important you do that. If you don't, you're going to have 12 buttons and people are going to go bam, 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 and you are going to go deaf if you have a monitor in like I do, because it's going to blare sounds on top of each other. So make sure you set up the cooldown groups. This is cooldown group 2. This is 3. These 2 are 3. These 3 are in group 2. Your sounds are loud. Well, you can manage that from right here. Volume of the sounds. Right there. If I come back and play it again.
And now, opening for Iron Maiden, Wild Stallion!
There you go. Probably have to hit save it. Alright, so one more thing on the interactive buttons is the sizing. Over here where it says control size, you'll notice it's grayed out. But this is basically a 12 point by 12 point box. This is a 12 by 5 box. This is a 8 by 4 box. If you want to change the size of those boxes, you have to make the box not visible, save it, and then you'll see this comes up. It's now editable, and you can come down here and change the size. You have to change the size here though. There's no like corner drag or anything like that. Outside of that, background, border, text, accent, and focus. Background would be the color background of the button. So if you wanted a blaring red button, you'd come in here, you would go color red, select it, and be done. You want to be a border around it. You want your using images, cool, and don't worry about that. So GFX again has a media folder, which I have different things in. This is where you get funny because like you have to have a separate window. So this is the GFX window for Scorpbot that has to be open. This is a Windows source for OBS. And then over here, here's the media, right? Here are the different animations I have built. I actually don't have this window being captured right now just because it is CPU intensive to capture this window. But what you would do is, here's good halo, which is, it would be over my head, a good halo. It has to be a GIF file. What size do you want that file? And then the position setting. The position setting is relative to this window. So if I hit set, I basically could move a box around this green screen to position it where I wanted, and it would take the coordinates. These are XY coordinates on the positioning. The delay, how long of a delay after the button is pressed before you want something to happen? How many loops of that GIF do you want to go through? So I have it on 60 because it's a static, it's a single frame. So I just want 60 repetitions of one frame. Play sound, this is tied to the SFX directory, so I could essentially say, I have, I could tie it to a single sound, but for me, I was actually tying it to an array, so I have a completely different set of things for when someone would press a button. Text, if you want text to appear below or around the image, variable is, there's not very many, user, resub months, viewer count, but the user one's the only one you're really going to get into. You need viewer count for some things, but that you would then save. You could test it all day long, but it's the same idea. Open media folder, open stream window. Now you'll notice my stream window is only 640 by 480 because there's no reason for it to be any bigger. I mean, you don't want a 1080p stream window down here for this thing to capture out of. You don't need a window that big. Make it smaller so that it basically is dimensionally proportional. So you can position things the way you want it, but the resolution does not have to be insane high. GFX is probably the trickiest part to play with. It's going to frustrate you because you have to meet certain criteria for this save to work. You have to have a name, a GIF, you have to have a position set, you have to have these settings set, and if you have that core section up there set and hit save, it'll save it to the list. But that doesn't do anything for you, right? You have now a named animation. So we have DD good halo. What's that mean? Nothing. Until you come in here and you do this. GFX DD good halo and call it. So a command or a button would then have to call whatever you named that graphics group. Does that make sense? I still online? Yeah. So let's assume you wanted to show an image on the screen when someone followed you. I wouldn't even do it in here. I would not even rely on Scorp for that. It's easier to do. Yeah, I would do.
Well, it's about
Everybody
3:30.
gets 350 tributes because the timer's running. So yeah, I wouldn't even do it here. I would do it in Streamlabs. Streamlabs, one, you're capturing from an external source, so it's less CPU intensive, it's less local resource intensive. But yeah, I definitely would do that in a browser source overlay. I would not do that in a window capture overlay, because every time you do a window capture overlay, this OBS has to put out a process for that. So, and for each individual graphic you want to call in Scorp, it's an individual overlay thread process out of OBS. So if you had 50 graphics, even though they're never on the screen, OBS is continually looking at the window for that individual process. And it can take your CPU down quick if you have a ton of them. So the more you can build off of web sourcing, the less resources you're going to use. Been working with Lightstream. So Lightstream is isn't that the direct from like console option? I believe that is. Like if you don't have a CPU or a PC to capture to. Yeah. So I have zero experience with Lightstream. I will tell you this. I've read through the documents on it just so I can answer some questions for some friends when it first came out. PC based, OBS based is going to be, or Streamlabs OBS based or XSplit based is going to be better than Lightstream. Lightstream's there and it's great. It's great when you don't have a next system to talk to. So while we're talking about it, let me bring up this.
These pandas are here to
What's
party.
up, Dr. Death? How's it going? We're doing some tutorial stuff. So let's go to Streamlabs. Twingats can answer questions about Lightstream. Yes, he is the guy who's running a ton of that. So let's go inside of Streamlabs real quick. Yeah, I would say this. If you have the PC run off of Streamlabs and OBS and some of those other links I sent you. So let's look at, I hate bringing OBS over, but I will do it because it's going to inception us now. So here's OBS. I have it running in a fairly small window. The size of this preview window matters for CPU usage, by the way. So the smaller you can make your preview window, the less CPU it takes effectively. But let's look at the alert box. And let me put this on one half of my screen. Starting to crush my CPU a little bit here. It's rendering this a bunch of times. So, test follow. There you go. Now, that's just playing the image, right? The sound is coming from Scorpbot. But the way I have that set up is, I want it to be this. Actually, we'll just go in and go to follows. So there's the image. It's playing it. No sound. And basically every time that Streamlabs senses that there is a follow, there is, I'm not going to show the URL because that's super dangerous, but there's a widget URL here, and that widget URL is over here in Streamlabs alert box. Let's bring that up. And there's a URL crap. I didn't want to show everybody that. But inside of there is where you configure that browser source.
You will endure this loss and learn from it.
Staltar's not happy. But let me show you a basic browser source. So browser, we'll go test browser. And this is the URL. Going to hack it now, sweet. I mean, you just get on your screen my follows. Good job, everybody. But you would put the link URL from here for the alert box. So you would come over here, and this URL right here would come over here and be in this. This is important, width and height, and you're going to monkey with these a bunch until you get it the way you want. And then you would hit OK, and then reposition that box wherever you want it on your screen. So like mine's down here, so that when people follow, it plays the image for the follow in the frame I've set up. And then within, let's get Inception over with here. Within Scorp, under settings, I actually have, is it settings or general? I forget where it's at. Where are you? It's not here. It's chat dashboard. Nope. Hosting, viewers, currency. Where are you? Interactive. I know it's here somewhere because I did it once. Been forever since I touched it. Oh man, where's this setting? I forget. Web? Nope. Relay? Nope. Games? Nope. Tools, timers, commands. Where the hell are you? Cool. Where the hell is that thing at? Hosting? Nope. Viewers? Giveaways? Currency? I forget where it is. Commands? Nope. Timers? Nope. Tools? Nope. Quotes? Audio? GFX? Games? Relay? Interactive? I swear to God it needs to be in here. Alerts! I'm dumb. There it is. So, when there is a new follower, user has followed this note before the Staltar, that follow triggers the Streamlabs overlay and random list follow effects. So that's my array of sounds. That's what I was looking for. So I'm combining two things. I'm using Streamlabs for the video because it's less resource intensive to have them play the GIF for me than it is for me to play the GIF. And then I have the sounds locally, and they're being called from inside Scorp. Does that make sense? Sweet. Yeah, so just have your light stream overlay pop the video, and then have the sound play out of Scorpbot. Or you could do it the other way, but if you want to use an array, the only way you're going to use an array or a variabilized list of sounds or text, whatever, but an array is that. It's a variabilized list. The only way you're going to call an array is by doing it in Scorpbot. Any other questions? That's your guy for light stream. Twingats is also in our Discord, but I would reach out to him individually. Yeah, I wouldn't just DM him out of the blue. Use the streamer help channel, and just mention him and say, hey, Twingats, I have some light stream questions if you have a minute. And then if you guys decide to have that conversation in private, that's cool. I just wouldn't ding him just because I know he games all night. So he might be sleeping. And also, on that note, I know a lot of questions are getting asked in DMs. Some of the general questions that I've been answering, I would much rather answer them in the streamer help channel. That way it's searchable, and other people can kind of see the answers and go, oh man, I was looking for that one, like your target answer. And then they can see it, search for their questions, and maybe find an answer without even having to do a whole bunch of digging. Anything else? Cool. All right, man. Anybody else have any questions? No problem, dude. No problem at all. Ginja, Dr. Death, Nedge, anybody? Comp shout out? That sucks. Alright. Well then, I'll get this up on YouTube so that people can have it to download my Xbox. That sucks, dude. Alright, cool. Eddie's been tested. Alright, then I'm gonna go ahead and kill this, and feel free to ping me with any other questions you have. I'm gonna get to work on Castlevania stuff today. But thanks for hanging out, guys. Hopefully I answered some questions, some light bulbs came on. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night, dudes. No worries. Have a great afternoon, everybody.